first of all, just want to check you can all hear me okay? Yeah? And I do tend to speak loud, so I'll try and keep my voice down for you. Okay, cool. So first of all, before we start, do you want to introduce yourself to the crowd?
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Jono, I'm from a digital agency called Anything, and I'm actually Dan's cousin who set up MadFest. Dan was meant to be here, but we're not sure where he is. So we'll just go with it and see what happens.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So, I think this is a very interesting title for the talk. So do you want to tell us how you and Dan came up with the idea for this subject?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird story, but Dan pitched MadFest to me at our grandma's funeral. So we were at a funeral, we got quite drunk, as we always do, me and Dan, and he came to me and said, I've got this idea. What do you think, Jono? It's going to be, I don't want to do a corporate event. I want it to be like a music festival. I want it to be nuts. I want it to be crazy. I want, at the end of the event, everyone to just get drunk around the bar. What do you think? And I was pretty drunk at the time as well. And both of us, I just said, yeah, let's do it. Let's get involved. So we agreed to kind of help out launch our first website for him.
Okay, amazing. And I understand that obviously Storyblok was brought in at a later stage at that point. And I had previously asked Dan about, every marketer's nightmare is to have troubles with a launch or send an email with a test subject line. And he had mentioned that prior to working with you on the websites, MadFest was planned to be launched around the time of COVID, I believe.
Yeah, so I think MadFest, it launched in 2018. It'd been this huge event. Everything was going super well for him. It was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And COVID hit, and for an events company, COVID is just an absolute nightmare. So we supported MadFest through COVID. We helped him launch a few new things to keep it going. And then we came out of COVID and we realised we'd ended up with 4 different websites. It had gone from this one single website to 4 websites. Rory Sutherland, lots of different things happening. And they were going to launch Mad Up North, a Manchester-based MadFest. So he said to us, we need a new website. What can you do? And then the thing Dan said to me was, we need to be able to do much more in this CMS. We don't want to rely on the agency to create new pages, new sections. We want to be able to do absolutely everything ourselves. And as an agency, we'd just seen that coming out of COVID, clients no longer wanted to kind of be able to update little bits of the website and then the bigger things have someone else look at. We literally want to be able to do everything themselves. And that's, we've seen that with lots of clients.
Amazing, okay. So then what led you, I need to ask, why Storyblok?
So why Storyblok? So as an agency, we weren't any particular CMS. What the key thing was, we were headless. We've only ever done headless CMSs. And what we did, before Dan came to me, we just launched Antico Flooring, which is a really big, huge website, which had previous to that had been on Bracco, and it was an absolute mess. And we'd kind of repositioned it and worked out and put it into one system. But we didn't, when we won that contract, we didn't just pick a content management system. What we did is we spent something like, we had time on our hands with that one. So we spent about 12 weeks actually reviewing different content management systems. And we looked at it from it, us as a team, us as an agency, what it could do. But we also put each one in front of Antico and let them have a play with that content management system, let them see what they could create, what they could do themselves. And it was actually a really easy choice for Antico. They just loved the visual editor in Storyblok. It was just felt dead natural to them. They could create stuff. They're a very creative company, and they could create these beautiful pieces of content all in Storyblok. So from that point of view, it was an easy decision for Antico. But for us as a development company, in effect, we want to keep our developers happy. They absolutely loved using Storyblok. They really enjoyed working with it, building things out with it, and for us, our developers being happy means we make good products.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We like happy developers, us as marketers. So we wanted to chat to Dan about like the cool things that are on the horizon for MadFest. And we know that, the only way is up for MadFest. It's growing all of the time. And we wanted to show a simulation for if they had a headline act at some point.
Yeah, well, I don't know who came to Mad Up North, but we had the legendary Bez from Manchester at Mad Up North. He spoke, and we were chatting, and for us, there's an obvious headline act for next year's MadFest. It could only be one. Yeah. So for us, it has to be Oasis. That's what we should be aiming for. But bringing something like Oasis to MadFest, it's going to cause a lot of traffic, big burst of traffic to a website. But the way we build things, it just doesn't matter. You can throw as much traffic as you want to these websites, and you can handle it seamlessly. So this little test here, it's a bit nerdy, but we threw 50,000 users at MadFest, all within 30 seconds, and the website just handled it with a breeze, no problem at all. And that's something as an agency we're really proud at. Everything we build can withstand these huge amounts of traffic without having loads of servers online. It doesn't need the servers online.
Yeah, I think Ticketmaster
should come and speak to us.
Definitely come and speak to you for sure.
Yeah.
I was queuing for Oasis tickets nearly all day.
They need CMS, definitely, yeah.
And didn't get any. Okay, so I think it's been really interesting to hear your work with MadFest, but as an agency, obviously you work with lots of clients. So, in the world of AI, there's a lot of buzz around that, and I'm curious to hear from your point of view what you think that means for the future of websites.
Yeah, I keep getting asked this a lot, really. I'm actually quite excited by it. And people have said to me, do we even need a website? If we're going to just search on ChatGPT, or are we going to just search in Google and come up, do we even need a website? And I completely think you do. The website's never been so important. To appear in AI, you need to feed it really relevant stuff about your brand. What makes you stand out, what makes you so good at what you do, why are you relevant, and where's it going to get that information from? It needs to get it from your website, but your website needs to have really structured, really good content. And I think the thing I like is it's going to be less about chasing those page views, less about chasing those clicks, and more about just making sure you are relevant wherever you are. And something like Storyblok, is so good at allowing people to make good content and relevant content and structured content. So I actually think it's quite an interesting, exciting time at the minute.
Yeah, same here. I actually, just a couple of days ago, saw an article from Ahrefs saying that they actually think in the age of AI it will be people coming onto one landing page and expecting everything there as well. So I'm quite interested to see how it plays out from a marketer's perspective as well.
Yeah, well, I think the interesting thing is there is going to be less about creating this rubbish SEO content, which is just about getting people to a website, which it's not meaningful. It's almost like a trick to get people to your website. I think a lot of that will go. AI is too clever. It will instantly recognise rubbish, and it will just filter out. So I think we'll go back to companies actually invested in creating good content, which is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect. Okay, so we just have one last question in the absence of Dan.
Yeah.
So obviously as Storyblok, we often talk about Headless CMS, and you've said that you've always used Headless CMSs.
Yeah.
If you can, I'd be interested to hear your definition of headless, but also what you may think that Dan or your clients would also consider when they're thinking of headless, so the two views.
Yeah, I mean, as an agency, this is so hard for us to know how to talk about headless, because we instantly get quite geeky and we talk about all the great things going headless can do. But I think if you were to ask Dan, he won't care less. He's not interested if a website's headless. It means nothing to him. What he's interested in, does this website work? Does it withstand huge volumes of traffic? Can it integrate with things easily? And headless can. A really good example is MadFest switched this year to Cvent, to a Believe It Was show. So Cvent handles things like the speakers, the agenda, all the different things, and obviously it'd be a nightmare for Madvest to be updating the app, updating the website, updating all the internal things. So with Cvent, they put all the information into Cvent, and we were able to just pull that directly into Storyblok through an API, integrate really seamlessly with it. So for me, like, a big thing of Headless is just being able to react, just being able to change and create this, integrate with whatever services we want. Last year I did speak at Madfest, and I used the analogy of a traditional CMS. I'm actually boring myself a bit with this now. I've been talking about it for so long. But traditional CMS being a bit like a one-man band, it tries to do everything, and it don't do anything particularly well, and ends up becoming really irritating. Where Headless is more like being part of an orchestra. The CMS handles content. That's what it does. We use things like Algolia to do AI search, personalization. We can bring in Salesforce to handle CRM, Microsoft Dynamics. So we get this like suite of services all really good at what we do, rather than one thing pretty rubbish at everything. That's my analogy. I promise next year I'll have a different one.
No, I like the orchestra. We've had quite a music-led talk with the Oasis and the orchestra.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, and thanks to Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. I'll chat with him later. I'm sure he's got very good reasons to miss it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure he has. Oh, there he is.
Hi,
Come and say hello. Come on. How you doing? Oh, don't worry, mate. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. The last thing is we're running a competition where we're just asking you to tell us about your content management system really, really quick. 2 minutes, you can win a voucher, but we've just made it really simple. It'd be great if anyone could do that. And
yeah, sure. And we've got our own Storyblok stand as well. Come and see us. We've got a good team on the booth. Got ice creams. So come and see us and come and have a chat.
The only thing is, man, Dan, you missed my pitch on what Madfest should do next year. You completely missed it. Well,
what Madfest is going to do next year?
Yeah, who's going to headline Madfest next year?
I don't know. You probably need to ask AI or something, and then you'll see it on our beautiful website with a Headless content CMS. So yeah. But you did the bit about Grandma's funeral.
I did do a bit about Grandma's funeral, and the 10 pints and the hangover, yeah.
So, I think just from our perspective, the flexibility that you have with the Headless CMS works so well. It's customizable. You can plug anything into it. I'm not a technical person at all, but I think just knowing and having confidence that it's going to work, it's peace of mind. And I think just having a good agency partner, having a good technology, it counts for anything. And it's a partnership, right? So we work together.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
We deal with any issues that come up, and hopefully what you see is a seamless product, a seamless site where you've got lots and lots of products, but it's all kind of integrated in one place kind of thing. So I'm really sorry, I should jump off stage and leave it to you.
No, it's good. It's good. Thank you.
We're at a close now anyway, so thank you. Thanks very much, everyone, for your time today. And please do come and see us.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.